Hello everyone, my name is Gagan Thakur and I am an IVR developer. I'm working in this industry from last 10 years now. So I just thought of sharing my experience with you guys. So let's begin. So today what we are going to do is we are going to create a simple application which will look something like this. Okay. It's a simple application where we will ask the caller the account type, whether they're a new customer or a saving account or the current account or the credit card, and then accordingly we will modify the flow. So right now it's super simple, but going forward we will make it more complex. Okay, so let's actually create a new project. So in Cisco, if you want to create a new project, this is so I'm using 11 I'm using 10.5. Okay, so if you see sorry, I'm using 11.6. This is the version I'm using. Okay, um, so and you must be familiar with the elements. We can discuss about the elements later, but I'll quickly jump to the project. You just need to so I'm in the builder perspective right now. So there is this builder perspective. I'm inside this. It is Cisco is Cisco call studio is built on top of Eclipse, so it's more like Eclipse. So I'll just right click here on the navigator and I'll say new. I'll say call studio project. Okay, I'll give it a name. So practice. Okay, I can give it anything, so I'll say practice one. And now this is the location it is taking. See Cisco call studio Eclipse workspace practice one. If you want to change the location, you can simply uncheck this and provide the location that you want. I just want to keep it the same. And now here it will actually show you the deploy version. So because we are using the version that we are using is compatible with 10.5 and above. Okay, maintainer, it's an VXML property where you can specify your email address or your name, whatever. If you want someone to know that who developed this application or something like that, mostly we specify our email here. In the language, you can specify like which language you want to support, let's say ENUS. Encoding, you can specify UTF-8 if you want. Sub dialog, I'm keeping it false for now. Okay, session timeout 30 minutes. That means we are saying that the session will time out after 30 minutes automatically, if no action is taken. Now voice XML gateway, so there are multiple options given like Cisco's voice XML 2.1 with Cisco DTMF, nuanced and speech. So I'm going to use this one with a nuanced 10. So I'm assuming that I'm going to use nuance recognizer in the future, and that's why I chose this gateway. Okay, and then there are multiple logs that got created here, like the error log, admin logs, activity logs, CVP data feed log, CVP SNMP log. To be honest, I have used only these three logs. Okay, then you can also specify if you want to remove any logging or add any logging or change the orders that you can do, but we don't need to touch that. We'll say next. And these are the general error message which is provided by Cisco CVP itself. Like these are something they have given. Okay, and these are here at this location. So if you go to this location, you should see these files there. Okay, you can also specify your audio base path URI. I mean, if you want to put your audio at some other location, you can specify it there. Okay, then next. And this is important, but we'll jump to this when we start using Java here. But when we Cisco provides you a lot of APIs. Okay, mostly these are these can be consumed using Java. So they give you access to the application data, session data, element data. If you want to do any modification in Java, then you can do all that thing. You want to load a property, call a DB, whatever you want to do, like on application start. So when the application starts, is there any particular operation that you want to do, like when you deploy your application on the VXML server, and when the VXML server starts, okay, are there any things that you want to do? Okay, when application ends, is there any clearing mechanism that you want to implement? So you can simply click on add, and you can give the name of your Java class which will do the operation, a fully qualified name. Okay, now on call start here also, if you want to use by default it supports Java, but if you want to use any other language, then for that you need to use the XML gateway in between. So you write your code in let's say Ruby or any other language, then it will be talking to XML via this Cisco via XML. Okay, so you can specify URI and then give that that also, or if it's available on the web server, you can give the URI directly. But if you know Java, mostly I always use Java, so I can just say class, and I can give the name of that particular class where I have done the logic, like when if I want that whenever a call comes, I want to load the properties or something like that. So that is something can be done here. Okay, so for now we are not doing anything here. Okay, so please enter a valid call start Java. Okay, so right now I don't want to specify anything, so I'll say next. We'll keep it like this only. I'll say finish. Okay, so once you enter inside here, you will see that the start of the call is the entry point, and the first thing is app.callflow. Okay, so app.callflow is the place where the whole where you specify your application, you write your application, the call flow and everything. And this is the start of the call. Now the best practice is you should always go to this folder, Cisco, sorry, not here, Cisco and CVP subdialog start, and you will always put this okay, I think my application is running in debug mode, so let me clear that so that it will not disturb us. Okay, so you should always use CVP subdialog start. Okay, you can also rename it, like you can just right click rename and you can give any meaningful name that you want. I don't want to do it right now. And then we connect the elements via something called exit. Okay, so exit state. So I'll just right click on this element, exit state, next, boom. So now I'm saying that when you enter here, first go here in the subdialog start. Okay, and you can also like arrange the elements here. Okay, there are shortcuts also, I'll show you. Now here if you see that in this we have multiple three parameters, to be honest. Parameters store as an enable digit. So why we need this element is because if you don't need this element, no other module or no other application can call you as a subdialog. Okay, so I'm sure you're aware of the subdialog. What is subdialog? If not, please look for VXML subdialog in Google and you will understand this. Okay, so here you see that if we want our application to be called as a subdialog by some other application, this element has to be there. Now if someone is calling us as a subdialog, they can pass us certain values. Okay, so these values they, will come here in the params. And when we say store as session data, okay, so we can store it as session data or element data. Session data means the data is available throughout the session, throughout the call is going. Element data is means that the particular data is available only for the particular element. Like if I specify element data, it is available throughout the application, but can be modified only by this. Okay, this one. So maybe in another video we can discuss about session data and element data. Okay, now enable digit bypass, it is false by default. Okay, we don't need to make it true in most of the cases. And when it's specific scenario, you'll turn it to true. Okay, and if you turn it to true, you will see another parameter called this audio filler URI, where you can specify a music or something that you want to play. Okay, but we'll not cover this today, so let's go. Now what we want to do is first when the caller calls, we want to greet them. Okay, that's the best practice. Like whenever you're creating an IVR application, you should always greet the caller. Okay, so for greeting, we'll use the element called audio. So audio is something where you can play anything. Okay, so and you can change the name also. So I'll just right click, I'll say rename, and I'll say play welcome pp stand for play prompt. That's the way I use it. Okay, so play welcome pp, and then you can just say done and just connect to this. So what you are doing is whenever the call comes, so user will not hear anything here, user will not hear anything here. This is the first place where user will hear something. Now here I'll go to audio, I'll go to initial audio item, and I'll specify whatever prompt. Thank you for calling practice one. Okay, now now if you have a wave file, let's say thank you or welcome.wave. okay, welcome I'm sorry, the spelling is correct. Welcome.wave. So you can specify it here. Okay, and it will actually, and when you check use default audio path, so whatever audio path that you have given, it will go to that path, it will look for this file, and it will play this file. If it doesn't get the file, it will play thank you for calling practice one as a TTS. TTS means if you don't have the recorded audio and if you still want to play something, you can leverage TTS. Okay, so now There is something called state smart. We can cover that later, not today. Okay, so this is the one. Now actually this application is fully working, so now I'll simply end the call. Okay, so I'll just say hang up, and I'll say right click, done, hang up, and that's it. So the call will come, it's play thank you for calling, and the call will end. Now if you want to arrange it, you can manually do it like this, or the another option is you can just click these three, click here, or you can click here, this is align center, or you can right click here, align and center. So it will arrange itself, and then you can save it. So now there is a, we have actually created a very dummy or very simple flow. Okay, now if you want to test this, you can also test this. Very simple. I can you need to have the VXML server with you. If you don't have the VXML server, you can actually debug it. Now when you actually debug the application, you don't hear anything. Okay, but if you want to hear something, you can go to Windows, Preference, Call Studio, Debug Perspective, and just enable this thing, speech synthesis, and you can select any voice. Okay, and then you can just say apply and okay. Now it will not just display this thing, thank you for calling practice one, it will actually speak. Okay, so let me show you this. So now the best practice is whenever you create the application, you should always validate the application just to make sure that there are no errors. If there are no errors, it will not display anything. If there are errors, it will display errors in the problems tab here, call studio problems. Okay, now I'll right click here and I'll say debug call studio project. Okay, okay, yeah. Now what we are doing is, so this is actually kind of creating an environment in our local, and it will be deploying the application in the kind of a VXML server, and it is deployed. So you should see something like this: loading application practice one done. That means it is loaded, and then you see server started. Okay, now I'll clear the console. Now I will just say connect. Okay, so it will not accept any input because it's just an audio, so it will just play and disconnect the call. So let's see. Okay, so it is connecting. Give it a minute, uh, and ideally it should play something. Why it's terminating, just give me a minute. Okay, this is terminated. I'm not sure why it got terminated, but let me go to debug again, and let's say practice one. Okay, so I'm again trying to start the VXML server for debugging, and let's see if this time we are able to test it. Give me a minute. Okay, it started. Okay, okay, but the connect is disabled. So this is what I actually was facing this issue earlier also, and I went ahead and googled this, and in the Cisco forum I found that they have some issue with 11 version 11.6. It was working fine with 10.5, but with 11.6 they had certain problems, and mostly it works when we clear the workspace. So I'll simply restart the application. Okay, so this has been my observation that after restarting the application, it starts working. I know it's annoying, but that's the thing. Okay, so let's now let me start it in the debug mode again. Okay, so practice, and let's wait for the VXML application server to get started. Give me a minute. It is started, and unfortunately we don't see this yet. Okay, so I will fix this in the next video, and I will show you how exactly it looks. So for now I think we're good. In the next video I'll show you how this works. Okay, we got some error, illegal argument exception. Okay, we'll see what's the error, and we'll proceed to the further flow. We'll start adding more elements to it, the menus and everything. Okay, so hope you like the video. Thank you so much.